Hey guys, welcome back to Allison's channel, and today she's gonna be telling you some crazy ass stories, Britt.
That's on God.
That's on.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, for real this time. But first of all, I just want to say thank you guys so much for submitting your ghost stories to me and for continuously commenting them in all the comment sections below. I really appreciate them, and I do skim them in the beginning, but when I get the feeling that, ooh, this is going to be a good one, I screenshot them and then I save them onto my phone so I can read them off to you guys in another video. So I do have a few ghost stories that I was like, you know what, I think I want to share them, but I think I'm going to hold off a little more because I really like this whole idea of us sharing these ghost stories and having like a little discussion about it, because originally when I first started doing the reading your ghost stories on my channel, it was more so for people to feel more comfortable sharing their experiences, because a lot of mine were kind of out of the norm type of experiences where it's not the usual like, oh, I just saw something or I felt something. If my phone is blowing up, I'm so sorry. Those are my friends. It's crazy times, you know? But so a lot of my ghost stories seemed very bizarre, and I just wanted to document those and also give that opportunity for people who might have also experienced something not only paranormal but also equally as bizarre, the opportunity to kind of share that experience without any judgment. Because I know my stories are kind of really unbelievable to the point where like I even get like comments like, yo girl, stop lying, or like, this is BS, like, you know what I mean? But that's how you know like that you've made it in a way with feeling comfortable to tell your experiences. And here on my channel you can feel comfortable. You are more than welcome to share anything you would like, whether it be ghost stories or just general advice. Also, I really appreciate those who have reached out to me on Instagram. You guys are so sweet, and also do not hesitate to share your experiences on there, and if you'd like, with your permission of course, I'd love to share them on here as well. Going back to my last video, I shared two experiences or stories, a collection of stories from two of my friends from high school. My good friend, I called her Z in there, and her and I got to talking even more because we're both in quarantine like the whole world. She told me a little more backstory to her family's history in the Philippines throughout the generations, and basically about the house where a lot of the hauntings had occurred. So she talked to me about that, and she notified me about her family history, and I just thought that it gave so much more insight to her paranormal experiences regarding her grandmother, and I really thought that that would be a really great thing to share here on my channel, so you guys could also receive that better understanding as to why she and her family experienced these pretty crazy like experiences within their family. I asked her for permission, and thank you so much, baby Z, I love you so much. And she said yes, that I could share these. I'm gonna just read what she sent me. So this is what she sent me. She said, "Thanks for letting me share. Condolences for your recent family death as well." Again, thank you guys so much for your condolences, and to baby Z, like, it really means a lot, and I feel your guys' healing energy every time you give me your condolences, so I really appreciate you guys for that. And yes, it was super crazy as a kid because my third eye isn't open. I don't see the things they've seen. So this was the experience that got me to realize, okay, my family was not lying this whole time. Apparently my family has seen a lot. They told me so much, but I couldn't really understand or even believe it until I experienced these two myself. Then I realized, I don't have to see it to believe that spirits can roam and contact in the real world. Even though it was so scary, you're absolutely right about the comforting aspect as well, since it's my grandparents. That's why I remember it so vividly, like, whoa. If it were not them, I would really want to block out the memory and be too scared. When we are able to distinguish paranormal experiences between it being a family or a loved one coming through versus something that we are not able to identify and something more scary, I feel like more so we are able to block out memories that kind of scare us more and kind of remember the ones that have to do with like family ties. So that's basically what we're talking about right here, that if it's a paranormal experience relating to a family member that has passed or we haven't heard from in a while, you know, on the other side, that when they do come through, it is a little frightening, but we appreciate it nonetheless, right? This is my matcha latte, but hot because it is cold in Vegas. So sorry, I keep going back and forth and I keep looking at myself in the viewfinder because It's going in and out of focus, but stay with me here. This quarantine has gotten me to a crazy, crazy headspace, and I miss my friends, y'all. And it's the point where we're all trying to like mentally take care of ourselves, and I just want to go out, have fun, eat good food, joke around with friends, drink champagne with the girls, go on dates with boys, but none of that can happen. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. That sounds dramatic. It's fine. So back to Z's story. My mom and I discussed with my grandma why so much happened in our past in relation to spirits. My current aunt lives now in a province in the Philippines where we always used to visit, and it was so big, so pretty. Literally our family home. Apparently, that home has been passed down for a while, and I didn't know this because of the renovations making it look new at the time. Anyways, next to it was a little tiny church looking thing by the way the chairs are, because we were able to peek through the windows. But the building just looks like a mini classroom. I don't know how to explain it. It's small, but it's a whole open floor plan of a church. So I guess like she's describing this building that resembles a church and a classroom at the same time. So probably a place of worship. Okay, so point is, my grandma used to be part of this group that had meetings there to effing contact spirits. People would pay them to contact a loved one, and sometimes it would go well and sometimes not. They said they didn't use the board though, so I'm not sure what they were using. My mom remembered it as a kid, and she said looking back now it was very cult-like, how they met up and etc. My grandma said it wasn't a cult even though it seemed like one. She said they helped lots of people, but she apologized to my mom for exposing her to that at such a young age. She didn't have anyone to babysit her apparently because grandpa was always working. So now I know why the gates are open with my family. Grandma is wild for that. And that made so much sense to me. So basically what I gathered from this and what I told Z was it looked like her grandma was conducting seances. If you really don't know what a seance is, basically, if you've ever been in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, like, you know, when you get to the seance room with Madame's floating head inside of the crystal ball, and she's saying like spirits near, far, and basically giving spirits the opportunity to reveal themselves, and the music instruments are going off, and that's a seance when you are calling upon spirits of the dead or other types of spirits to reveal themselves. And a lot of times, I don't know if you guys know this, but seances here in the States became very, very popular right after, I believe, the Civil War, because a lot of people were so grief-stricken that they wanted to contact their loved ones that had died in the war, and so people began conducting seances, and a lot of times you didn't need a board to conduct these. So you would sit in a room and the main conductor would, you know, call upon the spirits, and you don't really need tools. I know there's different ways to conduct seances. I have a book of spiritual communications that outlines all that. However, what Z was telling me, she thought it was bizarre because they didn't use any tools of the sort. So I just think that her grandmother was basically doing the same thing that we saw here, very popular in the States, was verbal seances. Other than that, that's crazy. And to think that her grandmother was so open to the other side because not only was she calling upon it, but when she, you know, passed away and went to the other realm, she came back to let her family know she was still there. That's crazy, but thank you, Z, for letting me share that with everybody. I think that, you know, sometimes we have like these little family secrets or histories or, you know, paranormal ideas and beliefs, and I think it's really great to hear how other cultures have these very similar yet different ties to those. Now what I want to do is I looked at some comments I got, and I want to share some with you guys about some paranormal experiences. So yeah. Okay, so this is from Allison, and she commented this on one of my YouTube videos. She said, so one time I was sleeping and I wake up. By the way, the door was open and I see my dad, which was at work. He was staring at me and I say, don't do that, you scared me. Then he faded away. I'm not joking. That wasn't your dad, Allison. But thank you for sharing. That's trippy. Who knows, like, what if she was like lucid sleeping, or she imagined that? But I'm pretty sure she didn't, because I don't like to believe like things are scientifically written off. So this is from Mayela De La Huerta. She says, I love scary stories. There's a YouTube channel called Relatos de la Noche, and there's a story about a laughing goat, and it happened near my hometown, Piedras Negras, Chihuahua. I'm not sure how to say that, but it's next to Texas. I really like your channel. I haven't seen anything paranormal, but my whole family says there's something in the garage and then in the living room. They've all seen a woman, but I always stay up late and nothing has ever happened to me, besides a weird ding noise in the staircase in the middle of the night, a very high vibration. I don't know how to say it. I mean, un ruido muy agudo, como un golpe metálico, como se le pegaras a un bol de metal. And that's it. I'm gonna binge watch your videos. Okay, so basically this ring that she's hearing, the way she described it to me was like as if you hit something metal, and basically as if you were hitting a metal bowl. That high-pitched ring that you would hear, that's what she heard. Sorry if my Spanish isn't the best. I'm not fluent, but I'm able to translate, so thank you so much for that. Again, Mayela, I am so sorry. That sounds so scary, and I'm kind of happy you haven't seen this woman. For a while, there was a woman in my house, and not only did I see her, I believe my sister also saw her, but my friends also saw her, which that was trippy. But again, I hope you and your family are okay. I hope you don't hear that little metallic noise because that's scary. Okay. And this one is a pretty lengthy one, so I think I'm going to finish off this video with this one from Ashley Schutzenhoffer. Sorry if I butchered that, but okay, so thank you so much, Ashley. Okay, we're ready. I have a terrifying story. I'm 25 years old, and back when I was 19, me and my best friend Allison were super bored. At the time, she was living a street away from where I lived at my grandparents' house. So like morons, we decided to go get a Ouija board because we both played it before and we knew it worked. So after going to Toys R Us and buying one, we decided to play it in the house she was living in because it wasn't a permanent situation and we didn't want any kind of spirits lingering around my grandparents' house. We decided to play it in the closet in the master bedroom, which was laid out so there was no closet door or bathroom door. It was like a little hallway that led to them both. We decided to play in the hallway, so we lit a candle and started moving the planchette in circular motions to give the board energy. And then we started asking it questions like the obvious ones. Is there anyone here who wants to talk? And who will we marry? Dumb questions, really, because we thought we were talking to a nice spirit, and honestly, at the time, we really wanted to know what was going to happen in their futures. So I asked another silly question, if you ask me. How will me and blank break up? Whatever we were talking to responded with, he's going to die. Of course, I asked, how? And it literally said, car accident. Then I asked, with who? And how again. And this thing knew absolutely everything about my boyfriend's life and knew who he was going to be with, which was the guy he worked with every day, and the creepiest part was, it didn't even spell out the guy's real name. It spelled out his nickname. It gave me and Allie the chills, and the candle went out, and at that point we were so freaked out and scared that we forgot to say goodbye. We just got up, threw the board in my trunk, and sped as fast as we could to my grandparents' house right down the road. I did the same thing with my friend M. Oh my god. Girl, I had so much hate for not conducting my Ouija board session well when I was like, what, how old was I? I was like a little girl when I did it with my sister and my neighbor, and a lot of y'all came for me at the comments, but girl, I'm gonna come for you now, like, why did you do it like that? So anyways, back to the story. Just kidding, I need another swig of matcha. Going off on a little tangent here. I pulled up to the Starbucks drive-thru today, and I had my phone, I had my friend on the phone. The one that you guys saw, that's my friend Joseph. And this sweet old, like, beautiful lady was taking my order, right? On the little drive-thru thing. And she's like, okay, mama. And I was like, when people call me mom, well, okay, when women call me mama, I'm like, yes, I'm your baby. Like, but, it was so cute, and I even told my friend, I was like, oh my god, She called me mama. And I think she heard, because when I pulled up to the drive-through window, she saw me and she was like, hi mama. And I was like, I love you. Like, I know that might seem like nothing and dramatic, but right now, the sweetest and smallest and most simple things are making me so happy, because we all need a little kindness, and to have like an older woman, or especially an older black woman, call you mama, like, that made me so happy. Anyways, I'm so sorry, like, that's such a tangent, but when we got there, it was later in the night and my grandparents weren't home, of course. We walked into my kitchen and turned on the light, and before we could really get a word in there was a huge bang coming from the computer room, which was in the back of the house. At first, I thought it was just one of the cats, because they really like laying on the keyboards and knocking things off the desk, but when I looked up, all the animals were out on the back porch. I made Allie come with me to look and see, because somehow I just knew it was not a person in my house. I don't even think I thought of that, honestly. When we finally opened up the door, the keys were on the floor, a bunch of papers, and my grandpa's office phone, and all you could hear on the dial tone was like the ee ee ee. I immediately picked up the phone and cleaned everything up, and we booked it out of my house and left for her mom's house. About 3 weeks go by, and I've been at the home with my grandparents, and throughout the 3 weeks it was eerie and I felt scared, like something was always watching me. I didn't really like being home alone anymore, especially after what happened that one night. Every night I would notice that in the corner of my room above my door was much darker than all of the other nights. My TV would be super bright, or I would have had my little lamp on or night light on, and that corner would still be pitch black, and whenever I tried to look at it, it made me sick. I was so scared. So basically what she's saying is, at night she would notice like this patch above her, I'm sorry, my phone buzzed and I got scared, guys. I'm home alone right now. My parents had to go out to get groceries and medication, and I'm home alone. Just me and my matcha latte and my bunny. Love it. But anyways, so I guess what she was saying is above her door she witnessed like a black patch, and no matter what, even if she had a nightlight on, if her TV was on, that pitch black patch would still be there. So it was not there before, and whenever she would focus on it, she felt sick. I can remember this night like it was last night. Then one night around 8 or 9 p.m. I was lying in bed watching the Kardashians. I know, typical teenager. Girl, I still watch them. And my grandparents were in the living room, literally right outside of my room, watching their TV shows together, when all of a sudden I fell into deep sleep, which is super weird because I had like extreme insomnia back then. I woke up not even 5 minutes later, and when I woke up I realized I couldn't move. I couldn't speak, and it was extremely hard for me to breathe. I know people think that this is sleep paralysis, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. Sleep paralysis is when you're dreaming and your mind is aware that you're sleeping, but you'll have a nightmare and you can't move or scream. This is different. When you wake up in your bed and you're wide awake and well aware of what is going on, I'm positive 99% of the time it's some sort of demon attacking you. I had been studying in the paranormal for some time at this point in my life. I was just infatuated like I still am today. But once I realized I could not move, scream, and couldn't breathe too well, it felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I started to freak out. The next thing I know, I'm being pulled out of my bed head first. Girl, my feet are dangling right now over my bed. Oh my gosh, girl. Head first? Guys, I am so scared right now. Santa Maria, ayúdanos, por favor. Tengo mucho miedo. It felt like something pulling me by my shoulders. I started moving over the nightstand that was next to my bed, and all of a sudden I slowly started turning to face the ground. Now, all of this took place over 6 minutes, so you can only imagine how slow I was being pulled out of my bed, and there was nothing I could do about it. I kept trying to scream for my grandma, but I couldn't. I was terrified, and then I remembered what my dad had told me. Pray. When I tell you the second that I said, God, please help me, in my head, whatever had its grasp on me let go and dropped me on my face, and the word and... Oh my god, I saw something on my window and it's just a kid riding a bike. Oh my god. Andma came out of my mouth because I was still trying to scream for her, and I was praying. Oh, so like grandma came out of her mouth. After that, I threw the board over a bridge and began praying every day and blessed my room and the rest of my house. Nothing ever happened again while living there with them. This was definitely the most terrifying thing that has happened to me, and I've been through some scary things. I know this was a long story, but I hope it was worth the read. Ashley, thank you for sharing that. I am so sorry you went through that. Oh my god, being dragged out of bed by your head, and I guess you're kind of like levitating in a way. If that's wrong, please correct me. But you get flipped and you're like facing the ground. Oh my god, girl. I am so sorry. You know what really helps me? We have a rose garden, and if you guys don't know, the family death that I have been talking about a lot is my grandma. So I lost my first grandparent, and something that always makes me happy is my dad and mom growing up used to always tell me that the roses on the side of our house were chosen by my grandma, or because she loved roses and they put them there. I always have a good fond memory of my grandmother looking at like the rose bush in the middle on the side of our house, and her like looking at the flowers and showing me them. And so when I thought I saw her floating head, like I said in that one story time, I'm trying not to get emotional here, but I remembered her as she was like living and breathing. And the memory that I think about my grandmother whenever I think about that terrifying instance when I saw what resembled her head to be floating outside of my room, I just try to think of her when I was a little girl on the side of my house looking at the roses. And if you guys are religious, I know a lot of people believe that when the Holy Trinity, you know, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are present, there is an overwhelming scent of roses. And so to me, roses resemble not only my grandmother now, but they also resemble, you know, the Holy Trinity and God itself and Creator above. So if you ever feel scared like you did in that instance, I truly, truly believe that having roses, you know, within your house and praying over them and asking, you know, the Holy Spirit to, you know, be present, or any spirit, you know, it could be, you know, a loved one or any good earth spirit or just anything of light and pureness to bless these roses. I really, really believe that that works wonders. And so that's just my little tip to you guys. I know it was a little personal. I don't really like being too personal on here, but I think that, you know, during a scary time like this, you know, any type of peace and tranquility should be shared. So again, thank you so much, Ashley and Z and everybody else that shares their stories with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are staying strong and staying occupied and excelling and exceeding in anything you need to do given these unsteady and horrifying circumstances that we as a world are going through together right now. Thank you so much for sharing these paranormal experiences. I'm home alone. Gotta check my parents' location. Gotta text my friends back. But again, thank you so much for sharing. Send me more. I really, really appreciate it. You can send them, you know, in the comment section below, or you can DM me on Instagram. You guys don't have to follow me. I'm not like that. We're all in this together. We're all here to share experiences and gain knowledge and just put a smile on each other's faces. Even if we get scared, we're occupied, right? So again, thank you guys so much for your support. I love you guys so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Be kind to one another, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!